So let's start with a very new session on working with Excel. Before to that, before to that, so the concept comes into your brain something like this, into your mind. Like whenever I have a huge set of test data, I have a 20 usernames and 20 passwords and I need to validate them. How does it possible? So is that I need to write script 20 times? No. We can write script only once and I can use a loop, for loop, you know it. But still, for every iteration, my data should change. So I should use a input box. Is that using an input box that's reliable every time? So if we use an input box, again, there is a human intervention there. So how to handle this? Okay, so for that, parameterizing the test from Excel. This is the topic what we are going to see it now. If you write a test data in your Excel sheet, so how to take that into your test? Okay, so it is very helpful whenever we have a huge set of test data. And if you are trying to write that in an Excel sheet, parameterizing that to the test. So this is what we are going to see it today. But so when I write in an Excel sheet, how does it come to the tool? How does Qtp identifies that we have written in the Excel sheet? How does it takes from there? Is that any process of it? Is that any process of it? So let's have a look on that. So for that, we'll be having a few things basically. We need to learn the very first thing, data table methods. Qtp has came out with excellent features called data table methods. This data table method will help us to read the data from the Excel sheet, to work with the Excel sheet, to import the data from the Excel sheet. So this data table methods helps us a lot. So before going to form an exercise, before trying to work on an application or before trying to make an example, so first I am ready to introduce the data table methods to you. So we are going to have a look on data table methods first. Each and every method I am going to explain you, and I am going to give you a syntax on that. You people just try to write it or else just try to understand the concept. Okay. So all the methods are very, very, very important here. So let's go ahead and let's discuss. So I'm going to give you one method, a syntax and an example. Clear? Yes. Just you can move on to view and data table. Here is a data table what we have. Okay. So let's start with the data table methods. The very first data table method is adding a new sheet to the runtime data table. I mean to say here I have two sheets already added up. One is global and other one is an action. Same like that, if you want to add one more sheet dynamically by using a code, I can create a new sheet. Okay, so that is what the very first syntax here on the screen. So these are the data table methods. You can take a star mark to it. Data table dot add sheet. Sheet name. Data table dot add sheet, sheet name. This is what a syntax which creates a sheet in data table. I mean to say after global and action, you are going to get one more sheet with the name of the sheet name what you are trying to provide here. If I am going to write a sheet name called example, when I run the test, after global and action, we'll be getting a sheet called example here. Okay, after global and action, we'll be getting a one more sheet called example here. Means it is dynamically created by using a script. But the major thing what we need to understand is it represents only while executing the test. We can view it only while executing the script. Means it appears only while running the test. Okay. So that is the reason I am saying adding it to the runtime data table. So let me run this. Let's have a look on this. We have global and action, and you'll be getting example sheet also on the screen. Just observe it. Just here, it's an example sheet. So again, it has been disappear once the test has been done. So we are adding a new sheet into runtime data table. It's a behavior of a sheet. Means the sheet what we add using a code, we can see only while executing it. Once the execution is done, again it will disappear from the data table. We can see that in a runtime data table in your test result window, but we need to have some data into that. So we'll explain. Okay, so this is what the very first syntax, what we called as a add sheet, adding a sheet into runtime data table. Clear? Perfect. Now, so let us work something like this. I have a data in my Excel sheet. I need to bring the data from the Excel sheet to here. Okay, the next one. I have a few information in my Excel sheet. Let me go here. Recent items, and I guess I can have one login.xls here. Okay, I'm saving some file in my E drive with login.xls. Perfect. It's already exists. So let me write login1.xls, login1.xls. Even this is also already exist. Oh. Okay. So in my E drive, I have saved one Excel file. Let us move on to that and let's have a look on it first. Login123. Here we go. Let me open this Excel sheet, login123. It's in my E drive. Just have a look on this. We have three sheets here, sheet 1, sheet 2 and sheet 3 in this login123.xls. Sheet 1 contains some usernames and passwords, and sheet 2 contains some state names. Sheet 3 contains some city names. Simple. So I have sheet 1, sheet 2 and sheet 3. So if I want to take this data into runtime data table, so I want to take this data which is in an Excel sheet, which is in an external source, which is in some Excel sheet away from the QTP. I want to take this data into runtime data table. So for that, we have an option called import. The next one, import. Data table dot import and path of XLS file. The file what you are trying to import, you can give the path of that file. Data table dot import path of XLS file. So it's in E drive, right? So it's an E drive. The path we need to give it here. But okay, everything is going good. In E drive, it is login123.xls. Perfect. But if you have a look on it, in login.xls, login123.xls, I have three sheets actually. Sheet 1 having a data of username and password, sheet 2 with some other data, sheet 3 with some other data. But whenever I look at my QTP, I have only two sheets here, global and action. If I import the data, how it works? What about the third sheet then? So let's have a look on this. So first, let us try to import the data from your Excel sheet to QTP data table. So here I need to write data table dot import sheet. The drive itself is a E drive, and login 123.xls. I am trying to import the whole Excel file, guys. Try to understand that. And let me run the test. The data will be taken here. Just observe it. You'll be getting the data there. Observe it. Observe it. See here. See here. See here. We are getting the data. Perfectly done. Now let me open the test result window for you. I'm trying to give you the instructions on the methods. Once the methods is done, we'll be having examples on that too. So let's have a look on this. I'm in a data table now. Okay. The few things what we need to observe. Global and action. The two sheets are been existing in data table, right? So the data from the Excel sheet, we have three sheets, but it has taken only two sheets actually. One, what is this? From the sheet 1 to global automatically, and sheet 2 to action automatically. Just here, sheet 1 has been taken into global, and sheet 2 has been taken into action 1 automatically. Just here, the sheet 2, which has state names, has been also taken into action 1. But what about the sheet 3? The sheet 3 information has been not taken because there is no sheet 3 available for us. Clear? So depending on the available sheets, it will try to take it. But have a look on this. The sheet 1 is one and the same, or else does it have made any changes to it while importing it? So automatically sheet 1 will be taken into global, sheet 2 will be taken into action 1. If you have action 2, sheet 3 will be going to the action 3. If you have sheet 4, that will be moved on to the action 3. Clear? Now, we have the data here, which is in my raw Excel sheet, and this is what it has been imported to. So do you may see any changes, or it is one and the same? Yes, guys, just see it, just observe it. If you feel any difference, let me know. Is that one and the same? Perfect. The first row in an Excel sheet has been automatically converted as column names in runtime data table. Clear? The first row is UID, but here the first row starts with ABCD. So what does it mean? This UID has converted as a column name. This PWD has converted as column name for the runtime data table. As simple as that. The first row in an Excel sheet will automatically convert as a column name in runtime data table. This is a point 1 what we need to remember in import. Point 1, what is that? The first row in an Excel will automatically convert as a column name in runtime data table. This is a point 1 what we need to remember. And the point 2, my script has been iterated 3 times. The same line of a script. I have written only one line, but this one line has repeated 3 times. Iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3. Why? So the very important thing, your QTP iterates according to number of rows in a global sheet. QTP iterates according to number of rows in a global sheet. So once this data is imported to the global, so how many rows I have, guys? 1, 2, 3. 3 rows. So that is the reason your QTP has been iterated 3 times. Means the same script will be repeated 3 times. No need to write any loop statement. Without writing for loop, it will literally iterate 3 times because I have 3 rows. If I have 100 rows in a global, then your test will be executed 100 times. It will be repeated 100 times. Is that clear? Yes. So try to remember, it only works for global. If you have 10 rows in action also, it will execute depending on the number of rows in global only. It doesn't care how many rows are there in action. It doesn't deal with anything which is related to the action. It will work only if you have the rows in global. We have 3 rows, so that is the reason your same script has been repeated 3 times. This is a point 2 what we need to remember. Point 3. While running the test, make sure to close the source file. If you open the source file and if you run it, definitely it will throw an error. So I am running the test here. The source file has been opened on the screen and I am running the test. Definitely it will throw an error message. The data import file operation failed. So whenever we are trying to import the data, make sure to close the source file. This is what about import. This is what about import. The 3 points you need to remember. The very first point is the first row will be converted as a column name in runtime data table. And the next one, it iterates according to the number of rows in global. And the third point, make sure to close the source file before running the test. So this is what the import, but I guess you have observed it. In the import, it is trying to import all the sheets automatically. Means sheet 1 automatically to global, sheet 2 to action. If it is other sheet is available, then sheet 3 to that available sheet, it will take it. It will not trying to ask you the options, right? Yes. But in some cases, your requirement will be like this. I want 3 sheets, but I want only one sheet to be taken. Only a specific sheet. I don't want sheet 1 and sheet 2 to be imported. I want only one sheet should be imported, and that to the specific destination. I'm going to create a new sheet, and to that sheet I want to take it. Means a specific sheet to a specific sheet again. So I'm going to specify like what sheet I need to take and where it should take to. So if it is an import, it doesn't give that facility to us. Like 1 will be going to the global, 2 will be going to the action. If you have other sheet, then 3 will appears there. But here I don't want that to be happen. I want only one sheet, not multiple sheets to be taken. Only sheet 3 I want, and that too I want it to sheet where I specify it to be do. Okay. Yes. So for that, import will not work. So we have another option, import sheet. Import sheet. Using import sheet, we can import the data from a specific sheet to a specific sheet again. Clear? So let's have a look on that. Import sheet. So take a syntax for the import sheet, please. Import sheet. Path of XLS file of a source sheet. Source sheet name. SRC represents source sheet. Source sheet name. Destination sheet. Destination sheet. Source sheet name and destination sheet. Data table.import the path of the XLS file and the source and the destination sheet. So here in this example, I want to take the data from sheet 3 to action 1. Sheet 3 to action 1. Let's see how it works. It is in E drive with the name login 123.xls. So from here, we need to take that into what is the source sheet? Action 1. This is case sensitive. Action 1.
Yeah, Kiran, source sheet is sheet 3, am I right?
Perfect. Source is sheet 3.
Yes. Yeah, sheet 3.
Sheet 3. Destination is action 1.
Yes.
So from the sheet 3, we are trying to send that to the action 1. So the whole sheet will not be taken. Only sheet 3 will be taken into the specific folder, specific location where we want to send it to. Simple. So actually it has appeared, but still once the test has been done, it will disappear from there. You can move on to the test result window. Here we have a data table. Simply click on that. Here we go. It has taken city and Hyderabad. And moreover, even we have 2 rows, but it has iterated only once. Why? Because we have no data in the global. If you have data in the global, then it will iterate, right? So we have a data in other than the global, so obviously no need to worry. It iterate only once. Okay. This import sheet is very widely used mechanism generally in the organizations. When compared to import sheet is very frequently used mechanism. Clear? Now, let's try to do few more things on it. Here in a global sheet, I have a few data. And in the action 1, I have data again. Okay. So in global, how many rows of data I have? 2 rows. In action, I have 4 rows of data. Simple. Now, so we have a syntax to count the number of rows. Data table dot get row count. Get row count will bring the number of rows. But from where it will bring, guys, whether it will bring from global or action. Let me take a variable called rCount and let us print that. Print r. So from where it will bring? From global or action. Data table dot get row count. So get row count will bring the number of rows. Very good. Happy. Fine. But from where it will take the data from? From global or from action? We haven't specified anything. So if that is the case, by default, it will bring from global. It will bring the number of rows from global only. Global is pre-activated every time. So let me run it. So how many rows we have? 2 rows. How many times it will print 2? 2 times. Why? Because it will execute the script 2 times. For one iteration, it will write 2. Even for the second iteration also, the rows remain the same. It's going to write 2. So it is going to write 2 times now. Have a look on this. 2. Is it clear? Yes. So not only get row count. Basically, every time global will be pre-activated. Is it clear? Like what if you want to work on other than the global? It may be action 1 or action 2 or any other similar thing which is not a global, which is not a global. So global is pre-activated. What is I am saying? If not only getting a row, if you want to work on other than the global, not only for get row count, even for the other operations also, to work with other than the global, first we need to activate that sheet. First we need to activate that sheet. First we need to move cursor to that sheet. So that what we have the syntax for is get sheet. Get sheet to activate a specific sheet. Data table, take the syntax dot get sheet and the sheet name what you want to take, what you want to activate, and after that method what you want to do, you want to go in the add the parameter, or whether you want to get the current row, or what is your proper thing. So method. So in this case, if I want to know the things, or else if I want to activate other than the global sheet, then I need to specify data table dot get sheet. What is the name of the sheet? Action1. And what I need to do for this? Dot get row count. So I will be getting the row count from action1. How many rows I have, guys? 4 rows. How many times your script will repeat? Let me repeat it once again. So we have 2 rows in a global. Even you work on an action, even you are fetching the data from the action1 or any other sheet, your script iterate according to the number of rows in global. In global we have 2 rows, so the script will be executed 2 times. For every iteration it will give 4 as an answer. It will be giving 4 and 4 for 2 times. Let me run this. The point what we need to remember is Qtp iterates according to the number of rows in global. You may work on a global or you may not work on the global. But the thing is that if you have a data in the global, it starts iterating it. See here, it has iterated 2 times. For every iteration, it has taken the 4 as answer. Because I have 4 rows, data table dot get sheet of action1 is activated. It has counted the row, 4 rows. Again, the same iteration, again 4 rows. Why it has iterated 2 times? Why? Because I have 2 rows in the global. Simple. Is it clear? This is how generally we'll be counting the rows. Okay, data table dot get row count. A very, very, very important and interesting thing actually. Row count. Now, we have a concept of adding a parameter also. If you want to add a column name directly, a column name, we can still add the column name directly. Using a code also we can add a column name. Let me take a few things here. Let me take a new test. In a global, or else let's take an action. In action, I have city already, a row called city, which has few city names in it. Perfect. Now, I want to add a column name to the test. So first of all, I'm in other than the global sheet, so I need to activate it. Data table dot get sheet. This activates the sheet. And what is the sheet? What is the sheet, guys? Action1. And after activating the action1, what I want to do it? Data table dot get sheet action1. Action1 has been activated. Dot. We have a syntax called add parameter. Using add parameter, we can add a column name. Column name to the runtime data table. Let me add a column name called state. state. Okay. Yes. And after that, if you want to give the state name, you can give it. Okay. State name can be given. Like Telangana is a state name. So add parameter. State is a column name. So same like a city, the state will be written. So after that, in a row 1, Telangana will be taken up. So let me run this and show you how does it work. So I'm creating a column name. Along with that, a first row. It's an optional one. First row can be created, or else you can still ignore that by just giving the quotes. If you want to create only the column name, just write a state and just give the quotes and leave it. That's it. Here we go. See here, the city state name has been taken up and the state name has been written here. So what happens if I write the city once again? Just here, the city name is already existing, guys. City column name is already existing, but I want to add one more city column name. If that is the case, does it throws an error message? It will not throw any error message, but in spite of duplicating the name, it will add some extension to it and it will make unique. So I have city already. So it will write city1 as a new column name. So what does it mean? So before creating a column name, first it reads all the columns. If the same name is existing, it will add some extension to it and it will add a unique value to it, like city1. Earlier it was city. Same I am trying to add it. So it has not taken as city, or else it has not thrown any error message. Automatically it has taken some extension to it called as a city1. Clear? Perfect. Now, so we know how to add a parameter. Now, very interesting and very important one. Like if you have a data in a sheet, in global or action any sheet. So how to read the data from the sheet, global sheet or action sheet, any sheet. How to read the data and how to write the data into data sheet. This is a very important. You can take a star mark to it. So for that we have a command called value. Okay, so have some state names here. Okay, so what I do is now I want to read the data. What data I want to read? I want to read this mattress. Chennai. So to read the data from the cell, we need to know two values. What is that? Row and column. If I ask my QTP to take the data from third row of city column, then obviously it will bring that Madras data what I want, right? Yes. So whenever we want to work with a cell, we need to know about row and column. That's it. You can get the value from the cell. If you want to write also, give this row and column. Obviously it will work. Now, so the value command will help us to write and to read the data from the global sheet. To write and to read, for both we'll be using only one, that is value. Data table dot value, column name, comma, sheet name. Let's assume that this is for reading. So let me take that as an output. This is for the read, and I can print or message box it. This is for the reading the data. To writing, the same thing. but the data what you are supposed to write. That you can write it to this way. The first one is to read, and this is to write the data. And the data what you are trying to write. I want to write some Kiran. Let's assume that. Or some data. Here we go. But if you closely observe it, data table dot value, we have only column name. Is that column name only sufficient to write the data into cell? Obviously no. Right? First take this. Next. The same. Data table dot value, column name, and sheet. Let us read the data. Okay. Data table dot value, column name, and the sheet name. And I'm trying to print it. So this is what generally it works. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take this Madras as a, or else let me take this Mumbai. I need to print this Mumbai. So data table dot value. What is the column name? City. What is the sheet name? Action 1. Is this data sufficient? So I'm saying go to the action 1. Okay. In that, go to city column. Is that sufficient? Obviously no. I need to set the row also. So before to this only, first I need to activate the row. Before to this, I need to first activate the row so that it works great. So data table dot we are working in other than the global. So get sheet. Sheet name is action 1. A very simple syntax. Dot set current row to we want Madras, right? 2. Set current row to 2. Data table dot get sheet. Set current row to first. The second row will be activated. In the second row, city column. What is that? It's nothing but Mumbai. So it will print the Mumbai. Just have a look on this. Here we go. Mumbai on the screen. Same like that if you want to write. I want to write Tamil Nadu in this state column. I want to write it now. So it is a first of all, it is a third row. Just set it to third row. Data table dot set current row to 3. Perfect. Row 3 has been successfully activated. Data table dot what is? It's a state. And what the value you want to write it in the quotes. So to write it. So no need of print. It has already written that. Let me open the test result window for you. See, it has written Tamil Nadu on the screen. Clear? Now, so we have done with few of the data table methods. Now let's form a few examples here. Okay. Now this example is something like this. I have some login details in my global sheet. So how to work with that? We'll see that. We'll take the same login details in the action, and how it works will be having a look on that. Clear? So after that, we'll be taking from external sheet and we'll see how does it work. Okay, so first we'll see it in the global, then we'll see it in the action, then we'll take it from the Excel file and we'll see it. The same set of test data, something we'll be trying to work on with the different variations. So let's start this. UID is a column name, guys, and PWD is a column name. Where I have this data in global, ABCD is one user ID, and Kiran is the other user ID, and some ABCDEF is some other user ID, and password, the very first one is Mercury. The second one is and for the Kiran also, let me write Mercury. So some data. Okay. So simple. I'm trying to parameterize things from here. So from here, I'm trying to take that into the test. That is what my primary intention. So a simple thing. I'm not make it complicated as if now. I'm not going to make it complicated as if now. Let me write it as simple as possible. So first, let me take whole this data into object repository. This is the first task. Okay, very simple things I will do it here. Okay. So the very first task is, let me invoke the application. You know invoke application, right? Invoke application and path of the file. Just right click on it, go to properties. You'll be getting the exe path. Just copy it and paste it here. Perfect. So after invoking the application, it should write the username, password. It should click on OK. So after that, we'll be getting a flight reservation. Just simply we can close it, or else let it be on the screen. No worry about that. Agent name, password. Okay. So from where it should bring the agent name and password. So agent name is completely there in UID of global. and password is there completely in PWD of global, right? So how to read the data? Data table dot value, and what is the column name, guys? UID, and what is the sheet name here? PWD. Sorry, what is the sheet name? Global. 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 Same for the password. This is PWD, sorry. So I'm asking my Qtp to take the data from UID and PWD columns. And the few things what we need to understand is, here I have not written any for loop. Why? Because the data in the global automatically iterates. There is no need to give any for loop. First this line, this line, this line, this line, this line will be done. After that again this. Again this, automatically the 4 lines will be executed without any problem. So that's the reason I have not written for loop. And the very important one, setting the current row, because anyways only column name is not sufficient to get the data from the cell. We need to know the row name also. So automatically row will be changed. The first time first row, second iteration second row, third iteration third row, automatically it changes, because this is the speciality of the global. Clear? So let us run this. Have a look on the screen. It will iterate the script 3 times. And let's close that flight reservation. I'm just making it simple. After that, we'll be adding few more loops to it and we'll make it a bit more advanced one. So here I'm running the test. I'm not doing anything. So all the data will be automatically taken from the global and it works by itself. First, invoking the application. Perfect. It writes ABCD and it has read the password. It will closes this. This is the second iteration, guys. It is doing for the second time. Perfect. Again, this is the third iteration too. It has done it for the third time also. Clear? Yes. So let's open the test result window here. Iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3. It has came up with 3 iterations. Why? Because my data is in global, so automatically it has iterated. Yes, no need to give any extra intention to it. Automatically it iterates according to the number of rows in global. This is what we were discussing from the very first class from, right? Yes. Now let's have a few other things. Not only that, there are a lot of things to observe here. The row number automatically changes. Let me show you that. If we can have a look on this on the screen, just a second. See here, test iteration 1. Just see it. If I activate row 2, the row 2 will be activated. If I activate row 3 will be activated. Simple. Clear? So automatically the rows are getting activated. Automatically the rows are getting activated. So what does it mean? Simply you can see it here. So for each iteration it has automatically changed the row. You have not done anything, but simply it has changed the row automatically. This is what the speciality of the data if you're in global. But technically speaking, we'll not use any data from the global. That is not at all possible. We'll be working with other than the global every time. Other than the global only. We'll be working in some actions or some other sheets and we'll be working with that. We'll transfer the same example to action or some other sheet. other than global. Let's see how it behaves. There are a lot of changes to be done. Like I need to use a loop. Not only using the loop, I need to use a few more things. I need to take a help of set current row. Yes, perfect. So let's go ahead and let's discuss on that now. Just give me a second, please. Now, okay, so let's take this data into action. So let me take a new test. So let me take some data into action one as a previous example. Let me take UID and let me take the same thing. PWT. Let me take some data. Okay. So now my data is in other than global. The point what we need to remember. So for that we need to iterate the script. To iterate the script first we need to know how many rows are there. So how to find it? The very first task what we need to do is we need to find the number of rows. So data table, all these steps like data table dot get sheet. What is the sheet name? Action one. Dot get current get row count. Perfect. So let me take this into one variable so that I can ask Qtp to iterate this many times. R count, row count, it represents. Perfect. Now what I do is I'm going to write a script to iterate R count times. Even I don't know how many rows are there. Okay. So let makes this script such dynamic. So for loop, you know for loop, right? For I is equal to 1 to R count times. It's good. Very happy with this. So after that again, let us invoke the application and the path of exe file, I guess. Perfect. It has been successfully taken up. Invoke application and the path of exe file I have taken up. Now, so what I do is the very next one, I'm going to write UID and PWD username and passwords. The extra steps is row count and the loop statement and one more thing like set current row. These three are very, very much important. So let's have a look at that. So let me add the information into object repository for the slides. So we have done adding the information into object repository. So let us generate the script. Okay, so dot set. So now I need to take a data from UID of action 1. So data table dot value, column name is UID in upper cases, and it's global. So no, action 1, simple. Next, data table dot value, action 1. Perfect. The major things what we need to understand is for every iteration it should change the row. It should change this row. First it should be work on Kiran and Mercury, then Kiran and Mercury, Kumar and Mercury, then ABCD and Mercury. It should change the row for every time. So here, if we can have a look on this, for I is equal to 1, 2, R count times. For first iteration, I will be 1. For the second iteration, I will be 2. For the third iteration, I will be 3. The I value keeps on changing. So I can ask my QTP for the first iteration, take the I value, that is row 1. For the second iteration, take the I value, that is 2, that is second row. For the third iteration, I value 3. So I can give I as a reference of number of the row what it should be iterated. So simple, I can take something like this. Data table dot get sheet, and here we have action 1 dot set current row to I. I is a value which change from 1, 2, 3. So I is a value I have taken as a reference for. So here, if we use this action, the major things what we need to do is we need to count the number of rows. We need to use the iteration, and not only that, we need to set the row count also. But whenever there is the data in the global, there is no need to do all these activities actually, because it actually iterates according to the number of rows in global. But here we have no option for that. So we need to count the number of rows and we need to execute the test. Simple. So let me run the test. So here also it will execute 3 times without any problem. But only thing is that we have a data in other than the global. So I'm trying to execute the script. Just have a look. Invoke the application. Perfect. Right, username, password, clicks on OK. Meanwhile, it closes it for the first iteration. Perfect. It's for the second iteration again. Kumar and Mercury has been successfully written. And this is the third iteration once again. Successfully done. So after dying with the 3 iteration, your script will be stopped. It has been stopped. So here we have given the loop and other activities. But whereas if the data in the global, there is no need of that such activities. Okay. Perfect. So just have a look on this. If you are a bit confused about this data table.action got set row count, okay, no need to worry. So what is this I, like what I need to set I as a reference? If you are a bit worried about that, we have a other technique also. So simple, data table.get sheet. Set next row means after completion of a row 1, automatically it will move on to row 2. After completion of a row 2, automatically it will move on to row 3. Okay, so there is no need to write this statement. Data table.set current row to I. If you don't want to set this, I can use set next row also. I can use even this option also. Both works the same. Is that clear? Either you can use give I as a reference if you are not worried about that, and if you are not going to take I as a reference, yes, then you can set next row. So how many rows we have, it will iterate to that many rows, and obviously it will stop it. Is that clear? Yes. So either you can use both of it. So in the next one, we are going to talk about few more advanced, like if you have a data in an Excel sheet, how to take it to the test and how to perfectly test it and how to export that sheet, the end sheet, to a specific destination. So we'll be having a look on that. So we have done with the import, and even the export is also there. So that we'll be seeing in our next session. Okay. So we'll end up today's session here, and let's meet up tomorrow. These data table methods are very, very important. Please concentrate on them. Okay. So bye for now. With a few more examples and a few more real-time activities, we'll be meeting up on our next session. Okay. So bye for now.
Okay, bye.